Hello, I'm Kamikaj. You're on TRS Climbing Course. Today is a little different. I'm now outside for once, right? So today I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about how to use your legs more and a little bit how to climb, right? So as a beginner or first time climber, the first thing you think of when you think of climbing is pulling with your arms a lot, or just climbing up with just hands, but that's not the case. Climbing is actually a sport where you use your basically entire body, but the two main parts are the arms and the legs. The legs are the strongest part, so they use that more, but also the arms because it's the best to grip. So we're gonna get to it. The first thing I'm gonna teach you, alright, is about how to use your legs, right? So for most of my customers, they don't really know how to use their legs. The first thing they think is, right, I need to find a place for my hand and just grab it with my hand. So let me tell you that first off, using your hands is a bad mistake already. When you use your hands too much or your arms, you're just gonna kill yourself. Your arms get really tired, all the blood goes away, and you get a big pump, and then you finish within about 5 to 10 seconds. Yeah. So when you use your feet, it's much more easier. So if I was to give you a little example about how it works, if you were to do 10 pull-ups, you would get quite tired. But obviously, if you're an athletic person, no problem. Let's say as a first timer, you did 10 pull-ups, quite hard. You're already a bit pumped. You feel a bit of a strain. But what if I told you if you did 10 assisted pull-ups? So you did pull-ups with assisted and you use your legs. Much easier, right? So if you did 10 pull-ups on here, you'd be dead. But if you did 10 assisted pull-ups, much easier, right? So if I was to climb with my hands and also use my legs, it would be like 10 assisted pull-ups, really easy. The first thing I want to teach you about is step by step. So when I say step by step, I don't mean right hand here, left hand, and then right hand up again. What I mean is hands first, feet second, then hands third, or just step by step. Hands, feet, if that makes any sense. So the first thing I'll do is look for my hands. So I found a secure spot for my right and left hand. Now I'm gonna stand up. So my left foot is, it's not occupied, I need to put it somewhere. Now I'm just hanging with my arms. I'm getting really tired already. I'll just find a spot for my left foot. My right foot is still in a good place. Now I'm gonna stand up. Wow, so easy, and I feel so light already. But I need to find a better place for my hands. Okay, now I can rest my hands a little bit. So say if I was just to use my arms, it's almost just like hanging without using your legs. So let me just hang for a second. I'm holding my whole body weight with just my hands. Find a place to put my feet, stand with it. Oh, that's a nice rest for me. Feels a lot better. So the example I showed there was just hanging with your arms, it already kills you. So when you climb, you want to do it step by step. Look for the hands. Once you find hand, look straight away at your feet and find somewhere to place your feet. I'll show you another example where it will be a little bit better. So what I mean step by step is, I'm gonna grab with my hands first. Okay, now I look down at my feet. So I'm looking at my feet. I found this good spot for my right foot. I see another spot. I'm gonna put my left foot there. Okay, now I'm gonna stand up. Oh, perfect. I feel a little lighter. Now I'm standing on my feet. I'm gonna now look for my arms. I'm gonna put my hand there. My other arm here. Perfect. I feel really good. So now I'm gonna look down at my feet again. A perfect spot for my right foot. I'm gonna bring my left foot up a bit more. Perfect. Now I'll find my spot. So you see what I mean? When you do it step by step, you feel a little lighter and you feel a little easier. So what I want to tell you is don't rush it. If you're a beginner, sometimes intermediate as well, just don't rush it. If you're wanting to improve dramatically, like a lot, then I recommend just start really slow. Obviously, if you can climb it really easily, then go for it, go fast. But if you're wanting to improve, I recommend you go slow. When you go slow, you take time to actually think, and you feel a lot more like water, you feel like you're flowing with it. The best thing you want to do is flow with it. When you go crazy, you don't have time to think. You start to make mistakes, and then when you make mistakes, that's when you fall, that's when you slip a lot, and then you start to grind your shoe a lot. We don't want to make that. So in this lesson, I recommend go a little slow, take it step by step, go with the flow. When you do it, go with the flow. Feel like you're water, So I'll show you an example here. So on my hands, right foot, left foot, flow, go, and so on. So you see how I did that? I just did that, nice and smoothly. I went in for flow, but for example, if I was, want to go for it, you know, I just do this, you know. Just go like this, you know. You see what I mean? It isn't good, so please go step by step. I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to place your foot and why you should place your foot like that. So most people think, you know, already when you want to put your feet somewhere, you put your whole foot, you know, or you put where your comfortable spot is. So maybe in the middle here, just put it on like that. So I'm going to tell you, you know, that is already wrong. So climbing shoes are designed to make your feet tight. The reason is because you want your toes to curl. When your toes are flat, like say you wear your sneakers and you try to put your front toe on the rock here, it's just gonna slide off. So you want your toe to curl a little bit. So they designed the shoes for you to be a little bit small so your toes can curl. When they curl, they don't slip off, they grip on it. The reason is because in climbing you use your toes, mainly just your toes. Obviously you can use your foot, but most of the holes are quite small and quite narrow. So using your toes is the best option. So I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna use my front toe, this spot right here, you know. I can use just the front toe right here. And I can already stand up pretty easily. So obviously this is quite a big ledge right here. I can just put my whole foot on, no problem. But say for example, if my ledge was a little smaller, like say over here on the right side, then I obviously have to use my foot. So I have to use my toe, sorry. So I'm just gonna show you an example. Here we go. Just my front toe right here. There we go. Use my front toe. So obviously, as a beginner, I don't recommend you obviously get the tightest shoes. What I recommend is you probably get like a half size down. So if you are a size 8, then I recommend get a size 7.5, you know, just to get a little comfortable in the shape first, yeah. Some people like to start out, you know, the same shoe size. If you're gonna get the same shoe size, I recommend at least have a little bit of a curl, you know, at least your toes touching the end. Because if they're flat like your sneakers, like I said, just gonna slip off like that. So you always want to use your front toe when you're climbing. Sometimes your whole foot. If it's like a big ledge like this, you know, you can use your whole foot. But most of the times I want you to practice with your front toe. So obviously you won't get it in the first day, but I do recommend you do some toe exercises. Strengthen your toes a little bit, not dramatically, you know, just, you know, a little bit of conditioning, and then it should be a little bit easier. Climbing is also about balancing your body evenly. So if I was to stand like this and lay my whole body to the left, no, I'll lose my balance and I'll slip off, you know. So it's quite hard to keep the hold when you're unbalanced and just fall off like that. Let's say for example, if I lean my hips to the right and I lean my whole body to the left, now it's a lot more easier. You see what I mean? If I lean my hips more to the left, then I start to lose the balance and I start to, you know, shift too much weight on one side and I just fall off completely. A lot of balancing is the key to climbing. You want to find the core center of where you balance. A lot of the balance comes from the hips for when you're just, you know, just straight up. Obviously there's more, but just teaching for beginners, intermediates, I recommend you use your hips for shifting your weight a little bit, alright? Again goes for when I'm trying to stand up, you know. When I'm trying to stand up on the climb, I never stick my butt out. If I stick my butt out like this, you know, I put all the strain in my arms and then I already, you know, too much energy is wasted just from trying to pull myself up. So fix that. Remember to use your balance. So if I'm sticking like this, my butt's sticking in, lean my hips in forward, and I already feel lighter on my hands. Then I just look step by step, hands, then my other hand, then stand up. So the key is to try and balance yourself and kind of keep the center of gravity close to the rock. When you keep yourself further outside from the rock, you put more strain in your arms because your arms have to hold it, you know. So when you keep your legs and your hips close to the rock, you give a little less tension on your arms trying to pull. So you're basically standing on the ground, you know, if you keep yourself. Cheers. Just like I said, stick out, you know, too much weight, but if I lean hips in, you know, it's almost like I'm standing. So it helps my arms a little bit. So try to find your balance. Try to do some balancing exercises. I recommend one where you stand on one foot. So stand with one foot and lean with your body to one side and try to keep your balance. I also recommend pistol squats. They are very useful for this time, for climbing. When you do pistol squats, it helps a lot when you're doing climbing, because when you push up with one feet, it will feel a little bit heavy sometimes. When you do pistol squats, that's basically an interpreter of it. So when you do pistol squats, it's like doing one push, one kick with your feet. I'm gonna show you right here. When we start at 1 foot, like that, Sometimes people don't have the muscle strength in the thigh to do that. So when you do pistol squats or even squats, it helps a lot. So I recommend for you squats, pistol squats, and something to balance your weight with. Balancing exercises. So I hope that video there was useful. I hope you did learn something about it. And before I end the video, I just want to let you know that if you want to be at your peak performance, I recommend always exercise, So just like this video earlier, I recommended you do some pistol squats, even squats if you can do pistol squats. Also some mobility, maybe some mobility exercises, something like yoga, some stretching, they always help. And I also recommend some core exercises, Climbing is mainly about hands and legs, but it's good to have a good core so you can pull yourself up sometimes, And you also want to have good upper body strength, so I recommend a lot of pull-ups and push-ups. They also are very effective for climbing. But other than that, I hope this video was very useful. You did learn something, and other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Maybe outside, maybe inside, who knows? See what the weather's like. Anyways, Cammy's out, and I'll see you later.